All right, guys. Sorry for that little bit of delay, but we're back. Number two installment of the weekly Wednesday Scumbag. How to be a scumbag. How to be a professional third strike player.
Yeah.
Freak show. I'm gonna call it a freak
What,
show because that's what
whatever
we
that
are.
means.
Yeah, we're a
Yeah.
couple freaks. My name's Ryan. Used
And
to
it's
go,
JP as
yeah,
always.
JP over here. We used to have different names that we don't use anymore. We're not going to talk about that anymore, but those died last week.
Yep. If you missed last week's episode, then I suggest you catch up, do a bit of binge watching.
Right. Yeah, so we do this every Wednesday. Basically, what we're doing right now. It is late. It's 2 a.m. We've been starting about this time every week. But they do go on YouTube, so make sure you check out my link. And I'm gonna put my YouTube page on my Twitch. I'm still new. I'm still a newbie, so
Hmm.
I'm gonna put that on there. You can search on YouTube like Third Strike Scumbag. It's probably the only thing that's gonna come up. So, yep, just check it out, man. We got some good stories, some good anecdotes, commentary, whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, pretty
Yeah.
much.
So starting just we'll start. How's it going, John? What's new?
Oh man, I mean, is anything new in this stupid quarantine pandemic these days? Just drinking a lot of beers, but it looks like Safari opened up, according to Face recently in Tokyo. I mean, it's not really the top arcade that I want to visit these days. It's not what it used to be. Um, we're still waiting on Quench Cube to open up soon, or perhaps Mikado, aka Rumble Plaza, for those who played there 3 or 4 years ago. Um,
Interesting.
Personally, just drinking a lot. Yeah, I did hear, and I'm wondering if other arcades are going to do this. That if you play at Safari, masks are mandatory, which is kind of whack.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. I prefer mask Third Strike than no Third Strike, but it is what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you can't smoke anyways. You just gotta breathe in your own hot breath.
Ugh, that's pretty gross.
Yeah. Um,
How about yourself?
yeah, just playing Third Strike. I had a stream today with me, Bessels, Yuki Spencer, and Fito. Fito got an Xbox,
Hell yeah, man.
so we were playing on there. Yeah, I had like 22 viewers at one point. A lot of people were checking us out. This was like around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. So that was pretty cool. Might have to do that again.
Man, I was so surprised last time I went back to Boiler Room. Fito's pretty tough to beat these days, man. You know?
Yeah, he's good at all the games too. So I heard he's really good at like Street Fighter 2, Championship Edition, like those wacky ones, KOF,
Championship edition. Wow.
Hyper. I don't know. He plays all that bullshit. So he likes it. But yeah, so um, we're having some upgrades right now. We have I kind of fixed the lighting to be a little bit better, more of a show quality. I mean, we're moving up in the world. Got my own first pair of gamer ESPN broadcaster headphones. Um,
Oh damn, that's what I need to do.
all I need is the chair, and I'll be on my way. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I was using these today, and I was using them on Twitch when I was streaming because I don't want like a boom. I just want the mic to be like on my head, and then also it has two inputs on the headphones. So one was game audio, and one is the output uh, for my mic. So that was pretty cool. That just worked out. So I could hear the
Damn, man.
game and talk to you fine people. And somehow my channel became Twitch affiliated, which I didn't know what that meant, but I figured it was like, something good.
Yeah, I still don't know what that means too, but it can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, so basically, if you meet like these like 4 or 5 requirements, like you have a certain number of followers, certain amount of people tune into you, um, people can subscribe to your channel and you make some money. But I'm not trying to, we're not going to make any money, but it's just cool to get, acknowledged that we're growing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely niche content for sure. This is not broad appeal or anything, but apparently there's more people that are interested in this kind of content than I ever anticipated.
Hey, as long as like one or two of you guys check it out, that's fine by me because we're not doing it much else these days. So
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that I would be doing that's even moderately productive.
yeah, and it's cool to chat with my boy JP, hear what's new in the world over in Japan, and just funny stories if anything were to happen funny.
I will say, one of the things that I've been spending time on recently is I've always wanted to do some kind of content that like documents the rise and fall of Denjin, and I've been working on that in my own time. I think we're going to cover a bit of that today, and whatever I end up putting together might be a little bit redundant. But wow, man, that really made me nostalgic. There was a lot of things that went on during those years that I forgot about, which I think a big part of it was just all of the drinking that went on during those times. So a lot of those memories just got deleted, but good fucking times.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the time that you really took up boozing as a hobby.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
For before then, it was just kind of I don't know what is below a hobby, but
like once every couple of weeks.
yeah, exactly. Now it's more of a lifestyle,
Yeah,
but
yeah, okay,
back then it became a full-fledged hobby
yeah,
at the same level that Third Strike was.
right. It was. It became that thing where like I don't want to just go play Third Strike. I kind of want to have some drinks with it too.
Yeah, that was a there was a lot of times going to Denjin where there wasn't even playing Third Strike on the menu. It was really just for drinking.
Yeah, and which brings me to my next point is I was talking this about JP earlier. For some reason, I hadn't been drinking the past couple of days, and I was all dried out. And then yesterday, I got some, and I got really excited, so I kind of went overboard. And I wasn't feeling too good today. Um, but I want to point out that at this moment, I'm crossing over because that's the theme of today's show. It's crossing over with Ryan and JP. I was talking to
Get,
JP about this. Please explain it.
oh yeah, crossing over. So there's a certain kind of rhythm that your life falls into when you become a real deal boozer, and hangovers pretty much every morning. You know, I've said before, I am not even really bothered by hangovers because I feel like shit every morning. So the only solution to that, it's definitely not to dry out. You're waiting for that time where you cross over, right?
And what is the crossover?
Well, the count is going to be a little bit different for everybody, but there's a very clear point in the day where you stop feeling like shit and you start feeling really good. That's the crossover.
Yep.
And I think any boozer knows exactly what that feeling is. It's really fucking awesome.
Yeah, the way I put it is just you just feel like dog shit all morning, and then you like maybe you got to go to work, which sucks really bad too. And then once you finish work and you crack that first beer, it's just like, oh man, it tastes so good. And then after like maybe this, when you're on your second, like halfway through your second, you just cross over from feeling like shit to like, dude, I'm kind of down to party right now. And John described it very well. It's like finally you could smoke a cigarette and really enjoy it rather than just like get nauseated off of it. So
Oh yeah, exactly. That's that's another aspect of it too. If you're a smoker too, I think a lot of people that are boozers and smokers, they really don't like smoking when they're hungover. But you definitely know you've crossed over when it doesn't make you lightheaded and it just fucking feels really good.
yeah. So that's the theme of today's show, crossing over with Ryan and JP.
Yeah,
Let me know if you
both you guys have
guys,
already crossed over.
yeah, let me know if you guys like this graphic. We might put it on a shirt someday. I kind of like it. I like the font. Um, it mean this picture really speaks to me. I don't know about you, but it really says a lot.
Yeah, I think if I was like a much more innocent person, I would think that this was kind of some Christian rock album or something. But
Yeah,
to guys like you and me, it means something totally different.
right. So yeah, last time we were talking about FFA. Um, Anything you want to add to FFA, or should we start moving on to when Denjin opened?
Well, the thing that I distinctly remember that that was kind of like the precursor to the transition from FFA to Denjin for third strike players was obviously it was in 2008 because Denjin opened in 2008, and I'm sure you remember this. Up until like I don't know early 2008, FFA was still FFA for third strike, and then I don't know why for whatever reason a bunch of the FFA big boys they just started playing at AI.
Yeah, I do remember that, and I haven't thought about that in years. That's weird. But yeah, go on.
Well, what I remember, and there's such an obvious reason, was FFA was obviously great. I always love FFA, but like any arcade in that era, well, any arcade ever, sticks were, iffy.
Uh huh.
And I think that it was kind of getting to the point where people were not really willing to put up with it anymore.
Yeah,
And
you know what else was also at that time was I speak for myself as well on this one is before maybe 2008, like America and especially FFA was like 100% American sticks. Like
oh, dude,
we
exactly.
we didn't want to play on Japanese sticks. We used American ones. That's what Pyro used. That's what Five Star used. Victory. They all use this. We got to play on it. They had a Japanese cab FFA and it sucked. Like
Yeah, it was dog shit.
it didn't work. The stick was always broken. And I remember the first time I went to FFA, I had never even seen a Japanese cabinet, like not even a Japanese control. I'd never seen that before. I was like, oh, what is that? Like the Pac-Man stick when I first saw the cab.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought it was so stupid looking, like the little ball. And then I remember trying on it, and it was like so loose because for you people that don't know, which maybe a lot of you don't know, like if you never actually played on an American stick, like those things that ones that were like the 360 optical ones, the FFA used to use. I think that's what they used. That's what most places use. The spring on that was pretty tight um, compared to a Japanese Sanwa. I would say it's like 3 times as tight. The resistance on it.
Oh, dude, definitely. Those things were built for abuse.
Yeah, and it really took a lot of effort to like do your moves. It wasn't like Sanwas, you barely move it and it'll move like completely to the gate. Whereas the American ones, like you're using effort, dude. Um,
I remember one of the last times I used an American stick. One of the things that FFA used to do in its final years is they would just put everything for free on New Year's.
oh right, yeah, I
Uh,
remember that.
and I remember going there because Denjin was closed on New Year's. I mean, what place would be open on New Year's besides a bar? But FFA was. It was open to make no money. I don't know. It made no sense. But we would go out there to take advantage of the free games. And it was one of the years that Denjin was open. So I had been playing American sticks in a long time. And I was like sore right here for like the next day, man. I totally forgot how much effort it was to use those fucking things.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't really work out our left forearms as good as we do our right, so it is it is tiring to play on the American sticks.
Yeah.
And so we went to Japan. I think 2008 was the first year I went, which I want to talk about that later today. My first time in Japan, maybe if we have time. That's a good topic, so remember that one.
Oh,
Um,
defo.
but yeah, when I wanted to go to Japan, I really had to get used to a Japanese stick because I didn't want to go to Japan and be like the whole time I'm there, like, dude, I can't even super because I'm not used to these Pac-Man sticks. So I tried my best to get good at the Japanese stick. I wasn't good on it, but at that point, that's why I also wanted to play it at AI. I was like, dude, I want to use Japanese controls because that's what Japan uses. And I think isn't that what most of the FFA
Well,
guys?
yeah. I mean, that's kind of implied in what Ryan's talking about right now. AI had actually a really nice cabinet with Japanese sticks on it.
Yeah, AI was for those who don't know, Arcade Infinity was in like this Asian shopping center. This shopping center looked like it was straight out of like Hong Kong or Tokyo, like mixed. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, just this weird kind of bubble of Asia that existed in Southern California.
Yeah, and they had an arcade there that was like super dark, grimy. The floor was just like concrete. I don't know, but it was cool. And they had this Japanese cab called like a megalo.
It was, yeah, I've not seen something like that ever since.
Ever since, yeah. Anyways, for you guys, check it out because I googled this. It's called a megalo, like Megalo, and it's like a giant Japanese cab where two people sit side by side, and there's like a those old school like rear projection big screens, like like people used to watch football in the '90s.
Fucking A.
That was like the TV, and it was cool though. I mean, there was no lag on it, and it was like I remember the thing about the AI cabs. It was super loud with like bass.
Yeah, it was, man. I totally forgot about that.
So like you would play on it, and like your butt would vibrate from like the sounds of Third Strike. It was cool. But yeah, so going back, everyone went to AI, and everyone started to play at AI at that point, which pretty much
Yeah,
FFA was not the place to be anymore.
yeah. I mean, they still did the qualifier that year, and of course, it was on their American hardware, but nobody was really training at FFA. And I think after SBO, things were just super quiet, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like before SBO, everyone was grinding, and then SBO was such a big tournament, and then people would come back, and yeah, it would kind of die. I'm sure it's the same way in Japan and every other place, but everyone, yeah, I remember going to FFA, which was great for me because FFA was like 85 minutes from my house, whereas AI was 85 minutes, and FFA was like a good almost 3 hours. So I was happy. But I remember going to FFA. I mean AI. Sorry, this is too many too many initials here, abbreviations. Going to AI on like a Tuesday randomly, and like Pyro and Kai would be there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that was cool.
and yeah, I mean, I just want to sort of briefly mention neither of us can really give like a proper tribute to AI because we were never like AI players, so to speak. And I don't even know what that means because there was a really diverse crowd there. It was, music games and racers, and all kinds of crap there. But that place was really cool. So rest in peace, Arcade Infinity.
Yeah, I have an Arcade Infinity token somewhere. I just found it recently.
Oh yeah, I've got one somewhere laying around in my parents' house too. It's kind of a cool keepsake.
Yeah, but I remember just AI being really, really dark, and I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I remember.
One of the
Oh, let's go
oh, go
on.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just one other thing I wanted to mention. Where I was from, which was like the area that Denjin would eventually open up at, there used to be an arcade that was owned by the owner of FFA, and it had closed probably 7 or 8 months before Denjin opened. So I think that was another reason, like from the North LA perspective, things were feeling super quiet
What
before
was
Denjin
what was
opened.
that arcade?
Interface,
Oh,
which
interface.
was a dump,
Oh
but
yeah. Okay.
that was where I started.
Yeah. Okay. And then so yeah, AI was popping, and then I remember there was like Gutex was doing some podcasts, um, and Gutex said like he was gonna interview Shogo, which was like just some guy who didn't even really play, but like he used to record all the videos for SoCal, right? And
Yeah, that's right. And he was FFA staff too.
yeah, FFA staff. Okay, and then Shogo went on from he went on that podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm opening up an arcade," and then like it was kind of totally implied that this was like 100% Shogo. He didn't mention that he was opening it with anyone else, which I thought was
Yeah.
really bizarre. Um,
Yeah, after going to Denjin for a while, it was like, oh, I see what's actually going on. But yeah, there was very much the impression that he really pulled up his bootstraps and just, he was the chief there.
yeah. So, anyways, he talked about how he's opening up an arcade called Denjin, um, which sounded cool. Wow, Denjin Arcade. I mean, FFA was already there. No one was really going. AI, everyone was going to, and now there's a new one called Denjin. I was like, cool, Simi Valley. Sounds good. That made no sense to me. I didn't know where Simi Valley was. It took a while for it to open, right? I think there was like soft openings where you guys could play, but it wasn't actually like a public opening, if I can
Yeah,
remember correct.
I everything was in place and all of the interior was done, the signage was up, but it did take a little while before there was an official opening. And so there was this brief interim period where it was kind of like invite only. And I wish I could say I was on the VIP list back then, but I was not. So
Oh wow, I
I was
thought you
just
were on the VIP all day.
I would. It took a while before I got onto the VIP list. So
Oh.
I was hearing things about how there was this new arcade and people were going out there and playing. It was all Japanese hardware and things like that. But I think maybe I only went like one time before it opened, if even once. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, and I remember like that was one of the major selling points that Shogo was talking about. He's like, "This is gonna be just like a Japanese arcade," and I was like, "Wow, sick! This is just what I want."
Hmm.
And finally, I remember it was having a grand opening. I don't know if I went like the first day, but I went like pretty early on, and I remember the one thing that stood out to me was this fucking place was in the middle of nowhere. Like driving there, I was like, dude, like I was driving to or Denjin, so it's like past FFA from San Diego, from south of. So LA's here, San Diego's here. I had to go through LA where FFA was here, and then go west another 25 minutes. And like the first time I went, I remember distinctly, like looking at my MapQuest printout, like, dude, this can't be right. This can't be
Yeah.
right.
That's a sign of the times, dude. Using a MapQuest printout.
Yeah, I remember it was a MapQuest printout, and I was like, dude, this can't be right because we passed LA, we passed FFA, we're going, and it's just mountains now, and it still says like 15 more miles. I was like, dude, there's no way we're gonna just come across a city in 15 miles. It was so dark. But yeah, anyways, 15 miles later, we see one exit with like a hotel on on the right side, and then looks like a couple businesses on the left. And we got off there, and boom, Denjin was there. And I remember just thinking, like, Jesus Christ, could they have picked a better spot for this? That'd be so nice if it was like not out here, because it seems tough to keep a business going in a place like that.
There's one thing I want to mention about Denjin, and I'll touch on why this is important in a little while. But the Denjin location, I think, specifically needs to be described because it wasn't even like street side. Like it's in this corner here, but then between the street on this side and this side, there are businesses separating it from the street. So you can't even see it from the street.
Yeah,
It's just no visibility at all.
like I think there was a sign on the street, but if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't see it, and you would be like, this shopping center had like a pet food or like a farm food store next to it, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't
exactly.
even pet food; it was like farm food. Like, oh, I need to buy food for my horse. I'm gonna go to this store. uh,
As none of the adjacent businesses would do Denjin any favors.
yeah, looking back, I mean, I really think if you had access to the DeLorean, I think a different location could have really helped that place.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the worst possible locations. Like, no offense to Shogo and Bagrat if that's what they chose, but yeah, looking back, that was definitely a boner. I think.
Well, one thing I had heard, and I can't verify this because I've never looked into opening an arcade myself, but I have heard that I think anybody that grew up in Southern California knows that arcades were a magnet for delinquents. And after the 90s, supposedly LA County just prohibited any more arcades being open. There was never going to be any more permits for arcades.
Mm,
So anything that existed could continue to exist. But I think that's why they had to open up just outside of LA County
I
because
see.
Simi Valley would still issue a permit for that. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard, and it's been consistent with what has gone
Well, it
on
makes
since then.
sense. It makes sense, and
Yeah,
yeah, but it's just it's kind of like like you can't just like there's not like going to be like a new dive bar down the street opening. Like just dive bars have their licenses, and they're going to keep those licenses to operate. And once those places close, like there's going to be no unless no one takes over their license, it's just gone. So that's
yeah,
how arcades were basically. Like they had the license to run an arcade. Once that arcade closes, it's gone. That's the community didn't want it. I mean, community never wants anything. I mean, like kids wanted skate parks. They built skate parks and then they complain about it. I don't know. There's like no one's ever happy, right?
No.
So yeah. Anyways, I remember just Denjin being cool. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I can play Japanese cabs head to head with like all these SoCal players. But yeah, the major downfall of it was just it was fucking far, man. It was just not even a joke how far it was. And I remember one time I drove from San Diego to Denjin, which should take 3 hours, but this was Friday, and I left about 2 p.m., 3 p.m. I didn't get there till 10:30 p.m., so it took like 7 hours to get there.
Wow.
It sucked.
Jesus.
Yeah. But luckily, I had Louis Zamora and Yuki Spencer in the car, so that was fun.
Yeah, that's not a bad fucking crew to roll with.
Yeah, I mean, we were stopping for cigs just because it was the traffic was so bad. It's like, dude, let's stop and have a cig. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think we've talked a lot about the exterior and how shitty it was for Denjin, but in the beginning, dude, the interior of Denjin was fucking great.
Right, and that brings me to my next thing I'm going to talk about. It was a really good quote about Denjin. I made a nice visual aid for it. Please check it out, John.
Nice.
It's going to load up in a couple seconds. So this was a good quote, I thought, and I wanted to put it in. uh, Oscar Wilde gets a lot of press for his quotes, and you want to just sound smart, you quote Mr. Wilde, and this is one of my favorite Oscar Wilde quotes.
Yeah, me too. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, he was a fan.
He was, dude. He was. He didn't always play third strike, but he was definitely part of the community.
Right, and if he says it, you got to believe it. I think he had so
Oh
much
yeah.
wisdom. So,
Yep, that's fucking carve it in stone, man. Nothing could be truer than that.
yeah, I really want to get this quote in this picture like on a poster and just put it up in my room.
Yeah, me too. That same picture too.
But I mean, yeah, he was right. Denjin Arcade was sick. It was like
It was.
we could
It
go
was
play
really
Third
sick.
Strike on Japanese cabs. It was just like Japan, minus like the location and convenience of Japanese arcade locations and like the amount of people playing. There was a good 4 or 5 regulars, but it wasn't 25 people. Like even FFA was like pretty packed, dude. Sometimes, but Denjin never really could get that packed. I think it was just too far from everything.
Well, I think part of it too was it must be cheaper real estate to get commercial property in Simi Valley than the San Fernando Valley. So there was a lot of breathing room in Denjin, which was good for some of the events that we'll get to, in a little bit. But on just like a random Saturday or something, it didn't have that same kind of cramped feeling that you would feel at AI, for better or worse, or FFA. There was a lot, especially if you were playing Third Strike. Like, if I could describe the layout, I hope I do it well without any kind of visual aid. There was a very long row of cabinets, and then along the walls there were cabinets. But then there was this corner, and this just is indicative of how Third Strike centric Denjin was, where there were nothing but Third Strike head to heads. And this is not like FFA where there were 12. I think there were at most 3 or 4 Third Strike head to heads.
Right.
Yes, yeah, I think it was 3. And then, the area for Third Strike, that was it. There was nothing else there.
Yeah, I mean, it was one good thing about Denjin was it was really spacious. Like, it was so much room. It was a big building.
It was.
Yeah, and it was cool. Like, there was a little smoking area in the back, which was cool that you can just go smoke without going out all the way to the front, and you can even still see kind of like the Third Strike cabs from that smoking area. And that smoking area was right by the Third Strike cabs, so it was like our own little private, crew zone, which was cool. Little VIP area.
Yeah, the layout, it couldn't have been better for that building for a Third Strike player, man.
Yeah, but yeah, it was weird. So everyone from my recollection, everyone went from like, okay, no more AI. We're just gonna go to Denjin all the time. And for some reason, I don't know what started. Okay, I remember. Maybe you can touch on it, but I remember there was some kind of drama with Vinny at FFA, and after that, everyone hated on FFA. Like we didn't want anything to do with that place. Do you remember
God,
that?
that sounds so familiar, but I don't remember exactly what
Um,
happened.
so something like Vinny was at FFA, and a local Ken from up north in the valley there. Vinny was like 17 at the time, and to describe Vinny, like he was just this little like punk rock scenester kid that was just didn't give a fuck about anything. He just dressed like in like homeless clothes, but in a cool way, like in a punk way, and he just got like mad pussy.
Yeah, and I don't think much has changed probably.
Yeah, um, but that he wasn't exactly like he didn't wear a suit and tie to the arcade. He looked a little grimy. And I remember he went
Yeah,
to FFA, and I think the owner, not owner, but like some guy yelled at him and called him like a little shit. Like there was drama at the arcade,
yeah, that sounds really familiar, man.
uh, where the worker yelled at Vinny to like get out of here and called him a little shit. And Vinny posted about it on the shoryuken.com forums. And I remember reading that and being like, dude, fuck FFA. I'm all about fucking backing my boy Vinny. And I don't want to go there. Everyone was like, fuck that place. And I swear, dude, like nobody that I knew went to FFA like at least once in like a good like year.
Yeah, it's like really weird to think about how FFA went from the capital of Third Strike in America into nobody playing Third Strike there at all for
At
years.
all, yeah. And I remember this one time I was driving to Denjin. So yeah, you have to drive past FFA to get to Denjin, like a good 20 miles. I remember driving past FFA and be like, "Fuck FFA," and like driving to Denjin and be like Avon was next to me in the car, and I was like, "Dude, FFA is fucking whack, dude." And he was like, "I know, dude. Fuck that place." And we like high fived. It's so stupid, but like uh, I remember he's like, "Yeah, dude, they talk shit to Vinny," and Avon was like, "They talk shit to Vinny." Oh hell no, I'm never going there. And I was like, "Yeah, me neither, bro. Hope that place closes." Little did I know that those words would come back to bite me in the ass about a year and a half later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Well,
we were just going to Denjin. Go ahead.
I was gonna say in those days there was enough arcades that like those rivalries kind of didn't seem as stupid as they do in retrospect. You know?
Oh, it sounds so dumb to think about that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would kill for one third of the arcades that existed 11 years ago.
Right.
But at that time, I think we were spoiled, I guess, a little bit. It didn't really matter to me whether two or three of them closed down.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about like this sounds really stupid. It's kind of like I forget what they call it. It's like black swan theory. Do you know about this?
I don't think I've heard that before.
Oh, okay, it's just like a brief description of it. It's like like the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant having a meltdown because of an
Sure.
earthquake. In you know what I mean? Like looking back in hindsight, like it's so stupid to build a nuclear reactor next to a fault, a major fault, because you know that like someday it's gonna be an earthquake and you can't. This is gonna fuck up and everything's gonna fuck up. But they didn't think about it like in the obvious way back then.
Hmm.
It's like we're the same way. Like we didn't think about that someday they're all gonna close.
Mm,
Because we should have thought this. We should have just like looking back. It should be so obvious. Like, dude, someday they're all gonna be gone, and
yeah.
we should
What
appreciate.
what did what Yeah, what did we think the 2020 outlook on LA arcades was going to be?
Yeah, we were just completely stupid. Like we weren't thinking with any kind of logic. Because we should have known that by 2020 they're all gonna be gone. So we should appreciate every single one, and we should go to every single one. And we should never talk shit, no matter. I mean, yeah, it could get really bad where like maybe we don't want to go anymore because there's some kind of discrimination. I don't know. Just saying though, like we shouldn't have been so quick to hate on places, and we should have just really like appreciated what we had. But back then we were like, dude, they talk shit to Vinny. Fuck that place. I'm never going again. Hope they close.
Yeah, that was plenty. That was enough to go on for sure for years.
Yeah, and yeah, it's called the Black Swan theory. Check it
Huh.
out.
Yeah,
It's just
you're
like
all right.
something very obvious that you should have been known in the past that you just that wasn't touched on because we were just not thinking correctly in a logical way. But yeah, that's what happened. So now they're all gone, and I would kill for an FFA. I would kill for just an arcade. I don't care if the employees talk shit to me or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace to all of them, I guess.
Right.
Cheers.
Cheers. So yeah, at that point we were just all going to Denjin, and Denjin was like a real business, right? Was it like opening every day at the right time, closing every day?
Yeah.
It was legit.
Um, well, kind of. I think there's. It didn't really take long before Denjin kind of turned into a bit of a hangout as opposed to a real business.
Mm.
But in the beginning, I think there was a very clear, you know, customer and staff relationship. Everything was well maintained. Everything was clean. It was opening on time. It was closing on time. All of the things that you would expect of a legitimate business.
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't really know any FFA owners or whatever. I don't think anyone did know the owner, but FFA was
No.
like a legit business. Like they had their hours posted on the wall, and those hours were they were open. They didn't shut down for like because it was slow. They didn't open late because the worker didn't get there. Like it was 100% a legit business. It was like a Subway sandwich shop. I remember like Denjin had this novel like this kind of excitement when it first opened, and then after probably I don't know 4 or 5 months, um, well we did have a big tournament there, right? We did have like the SBO quals. We're lucky enough to be hosted at Denjin.
Well, I think we're jumping way
Okay, yeah.
far
So
ahead.
my timeline is messed up.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've been going through all this, and we. I mean, I guess we should kind of lead up to this,
Okay,
but I
sorry.
think the first big thing was California regionals.
Right. Okay. So sorry, I jumped ahead. Let me go back. Um, I can I talk for like 2 minutes? I want to tell a story right now.
Take it away.
Okay, and this is something that's gonna blow your guys' mind. Okay, so probably around 2006, I remember there was an arcade called, or there was a tournament called NorCal Regionals (NCR), and I was like, wow, I want to go. I really, really want to go to this. And I looked, and it was at Sunnyvale Golfland. At the time, I was in San Diego, and I was like, dude, fuck yeah, this is gonna be so. This is like my one of my first like traveling out of my area tournaments. I remember this. So me and my boy, we drove from San Diego all the way to San Jose, where my dad lives there in San Jose. So I was like, sick. We'll stay with my dad, and then we're gonna get a hotel next to Golfland, and we're bringing a PS2 and sticks, and we don't even have to bring our CRT because the hotels had CRTs back then. So we were like,
Hell
okay,
yeah.
sick. So we got a hotel next to Golfland, and we were like partying all night. We went to NorCal Regionals, and it was like one of the sickest tournaments ever. And we got third place in the team tournament, which was insane because we were like two nobodies. And yeah, we got owned in the main tournament, but I had a great time. And a little fun fact was I owned Sebastian at that tournament, and that was the first time I met Sebastian, and he didn't like me because I beat him that day. And we always, every time I meet Sebastian, which is like once every couple years, I always bring it up, and he fucking laughs. So, anyways, fast forward a couple years later, and we're at Denjin, and I remember like me and Yi, maybe me, Yi, and you, and I don't know whoever else was there. We were talking about like, oh, we should throw like an arcade at Denjin, and I remember saying like, yeah, dude, like I remember going to NCR NorCal Regionals because at this point NCR was already done. There was no like CR version of tournaments, which California Regionals. I remember saying, dude, we should have a SoCal regionals, a SCR SoCal regionals. And I remember like this started the the light bulb and the snowball. This started this.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I just want to say, and I know it's just I'm just asking for credit in like a lame way, but I want Alex Valle and John Choi to personally thank me by email. I'll send you guys my email address. Here's my address. Please thank
Yeah.
me, because I remember, dude. I remember distinctly saying that NCR was the coolest tournament I'd went to at that time, and I want to relaunch it as at a Denjin arcade type of thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it was my creation.
That sounds very plausible to me, man.
And the reason why is because I had so much fun at the NCR one. And then after NCR died, I was like, I want to bring it back. And I just used the same name. And I was like, NCR. Huh. I sat in my room for 16 hours and I was like, dude, if we call it if we call it just California regionals, that sounds cooler than NCR, and you know what I mean? SCR. I don't want it to just be like a SoCal thing. I want it to be like a all a Cali thing.
Absolutely.
So 16 hours later, like 16 pages of handwritten notes of brainstorming, and I came up with California regionals.
Just like when fucking Dr. Emmett Brown figured out the flux capacitor.
Right, and I'm gonna tell, dude. I swear. And I want to ask Vaya about this. Next time I see Vaya, I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna be like, hey, dude, how'd you get the idea for running a SCR?
Yeah, it did.
I'm gonna fucking test him. I'm gonna test his ass.
Did yeah? It
And
didn't have anything to do with the Denjin tournament, did it?
no,
Are you sure?
if he says that, yeah, well, it was because the Denjin tournament was really sick, and I want to do the same thing. I'll fucking buy him a beer right there. If he says
Yeah.
anything else, I'm gonna fucking talk mad shit to him in a joking way,
Yeah.
cause I like Mr. Valle, but I'm
No,
gonna tell him.
Vi's super cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him, dude, it was my fucking idea.
Well, I think I'm really glad that you bring up NCR because a lot of the things that I've been looking up recently, it there's something that I think is interesting to put in perspective. That's really weird thinking of huge tournaments being run in an arcade. Nobody would ever think to put a tournament with, 100, 200, 300, 400 people in an arcade.
Yeah, I mean, logistically, it just doesn't work because, well, it worked a long time ago because there were only like, you know, the max would be like 50 people are gonna show up, right? Uh, Nowadays, it's like so much bigger now that you can't like, I'm gonna run a tournament in an arcade and then it's gonna be like above fire code, you know what I mean, or capacity code or whatever. So it's insane that like you could just do that. Like, yeah, we're gonna have a tournament here, everyone come.
Well, but that was the thing was, I don't know what anybody expected with California regionals, but when it rolled around, dude, I swear there was between 300 and 400 people there.
Oh no, no. So yeah, nobody expected that. I think everyone just expected it to be like 75 dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, who's gonna go? I mean, we didn't see it, and this was right at the same time that Street Fighter 4 had come out, and it had come out in the arcades in Japan, like 6 months beforehand, and finally it had come out like in America stateside. I remember AI had a cab, I remember Denjin had a cab, and I remember FFA had a cab, and then like Video 94, like some video rental shop had a cab in
Yeah,
SoCal.
like video rental shop slash bong shop.
Yeah, and between the time I think we thought about California regionals and the time of the tournament, I think Street Fighter 4 had blown up
Yeah.
as far as the arcade scene. I don't want because it hadn't even been on console yet, as far as I remember.
Now it wouldn't be until the next month,
Yeah,
February
and I
2009.
mean we can check these dates on the timeline of everything, and we could be wrong, but from my memory, is between the time we announced the tournament or planned it or whatever and the time it happened, the Street Fighter 4 boom happened, right?
Yep.
Okay, and that's what
Yeah.
made the tournament at California regionals grow to like 300 people, right?
Well, it was the first major tournament for Street Fighter 4 in the country.
Right.
because there was nobody else that would be able to accommodate a Street Fighter 4 tournament. It was only on arcade hardware.
Right. It was only on arcade hardware. The board was 20 grand, if I remember correctly.
It was five figures for sure.
Yeah. I remember in America, I think, yeah, Denjin had one. May I had one. I think some dude in like the South bought one because he won a lot. Won the lottery. I don't know. I heard a rumor like that. Um, but yeah, so the tournament rolls around, and everyone shows up. All these motherfuckers show up
Yeah,
from all over. Everyone. Like if you weren't at that tournament, you weren't like, you know, an OG, not even an OG, but like a middle G. You know what I mean? Everyone
well,
was there.
for perspective too, we've talked a lot about Street Fighter 4. There was Street Fighter 4, obviously, Third Strike, CVS 2. I'm pretty
HD
sure there was ST.
or
I
HT
think there
Remix,
was,
I think, or both.
yeah, I can't remember exactly. There was Marvel, I'm pretty sure. And there was big attendance in everything.
Yeah. So I don't know the exact date of like the California regionals, but I want to say it was between the time of the arcade and the console. Because like I mean, looking back, dude. I mean, I'm gonna admit something really embarrassing right now, but I just downloaded Street Fighter 4 2 weeks ago for the first time. I've been really playing it. This is the first time in my life I've been really playing it, and I never had played it back then. But looking back, like it was kind of dumb to not even try it because it was super fucking hardcore. Like everyone wanted to play it, and everyone was playing every single day. Like I should have just fucked around with it, but I was just might have had too much pride, or I don't know, I was too cool, whatever. But I know you played it a little
well,
bit.
yeah, I mean, I have a totally different opinion. I did fuck around with it, and I look back on it as a huge waste of time.
Okay, so yeah, I just probably would have been the same way if I tried it, but I never did.
Yeah, I yeah, I mean, I kind of have some nostalgia about vanilla Street Fighter 4, but yeah, fuck that game, man.
It's fine. I just didn't know. I'm just
Yeah,
having fun doing the trial mode.
yeah. But like, I think what was really fun was there was this really nice grace period there, where how would I describe it? It was like there was maybe 8 months where arcades benefited from Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, until the console version came out.
Yeah, and so that was California regionals would, just always be by far the hugest tournament that Denjin ever had, and I think that was part of it. And on another part of it was, guys from the time period that we started playing, we would always say like the big three: Third Strike, CBS2, Marvel. Those games were still pretty hot in comparison to their peak. So there was still a lot of excitement about all four of those games, and so that's what really contributed to just this out of control tournament.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say before the Street Fighter 4 console dropped, where everyone was still wanting to go to the arcade. This was the peak of arcade play as far as Street Fighter goes, I think. Cause dude,
Yeah,
arcades were fucking popping for that few months. Um,
I couldn't believe the kind of wait times when I would go out to like Super Arcade. I think it was the first place that had it, and you would have to wait like an hour at least to get one game in Street Fighter 4.
dude,
Just the lines are out of control.
I remember like arcade threads on SRK posting wait times live. Come
I didn't
play,
know that.
come play.
Wow,
Only 16 people waiting.
Jesus,
And yeah,
that's wild.
everyone sucked. It was funny though. I mean, I remember watching. I remember talking to Gutex, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta play Street Fighter 4, bro. It's the future, bro." I'm like, "Oh yeah, all right." He's like, "Yeah, man. As a Urian player, you gotta use Balrog." And I was like, "Oh." Didn't care. I remember though, like he was so amped on it. A couple other people were fucking amped on it, dude. They loved that game when it first came
Yeah.
out. But anyways,
Well,
this goes
paid
back
off
to
for them.
yeah, it paid off for them, and this goes back to like Denjin was popping, and then the
Yeah.
tournament happened, and It was a sick tournament. I remember there's a video on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there. I think Rennick took it. I don't know, but there's a video of like showing a walkthrough through Denjin during the tournament,
There's a couple of those during
and
for
there's like
California Regos. Gotex posted one too.
200 people there. And there's some guy smoking a cigarette inside, and then one of the videos I always crack up with that.
That's cool. I remember, dude, it was madness, man. It was so hard to like push your way through the arcade. It was
Oh,
so
it was a
I
mosh
was
pit.
running.
It was a mosh
Oh,
pit.
okay, yeah, that's a good way to describe it. I couldn't have described it better. And there's especially in those days, I think people often dabbled in multiple games. I was running the third strike packets, and I fucking must have gotten so many gray hairs trying to get people to play their games all the time. Oh, he's in the middle of CBS right now. Like, fucking shit, man. It was just chaos. I don't know how all the tournaments finished. I think the Teams Day, the CVS2 Teams tournament finished at 4 in the morning.
Well, yeah, CVS two is such a long game that having teams was it double elim as well?
It was 3 versus 3, double a limb.
Oh, that's stupid. That's another
I
Black
know, that's
Swan. That's a
ridiculous.
Black Swan incident
Yeah,
right
I don't
there.
know who thought that was a good idea. It was chaos.
But yeah, that tournament was super sick. So, um, as far as I remember, like there was three major tournaments. I don't know if there was three, maybe two. Was the California Regionals, Sun Root Cup, and then the SPO Qual, right?
Well, there are two SBO qualifiers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I must have
I'll
been
help you
drinking
with the
too much.
chronology here. So, I think California Regionals would always be the biggest one, and I think it was really lesson learned. Like, can't have 350 people in here.
We can't have
And
tournament for every fucking game.
yeah, there's another small detail there, and I don't know how this got resolved. Is we had the fire department called on us because of like overcapacity and it being a fire hazard. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know how that got resolved, dude, because we didn't kick people out. It was just the same after the fire department left.
Yeah, they must have just been cool about it. I mean, Simi Valley Fire Department must not have much to do. I'm going to go on a limb and say that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Um,
Um,
they probably just saw
yeah,
how real and dedicated we were, and if we shut it down, it would just ruin our like entire planning. Maybe they were just cool about it. Maybe we owe a nice thank you to the Simi Valley Fire Department. Who knows?
I'll have a little sip to them, I guess.
Yeah.
And what really surprises me too. So I mentioned earlier about Denjin's location kind of being insulated from street view. People were not being very careful about just drinking open containers in the parking lot.
Oh, I was just thinking about this recently. Um, I remember distinctly being in the Denjin parking lot and just trunk open, key in the ignition, blasting music, pounding beers, tailgating like it's a fucking Charger game. I remember this distinctly. Can't believe we did that.
And this would continue on for the next 3 years too.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, I think one time the cops rolled through and kind of gave us a hard time. And I'm not talking about one time this weekend. One time the whole time I went to Denjin. I don't know how we got away with so much there.
Dude, I can't like looking back now is like maybe I'm just old now, but like if if we were just like outside in a parking lot and someone was like, "Dude, let's drink a cube of Bud Light," I'd be like, "Dude, don't do that. We're gonna get a ticket." You know what I mean?
Yeah. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, but no, dude, we just didn't care back then, or I don't know, like we were just idiots.
Yeah, but it all worked out.
It all worked out. So, yeah, California Angels was a success. That was also one of the first times that I learned was there was one hotel in Simi Valley or near that place called the Arena Hotel for whatever reason called the Arena.
Grand Vista.
Grand
Hotel.
Vista.
The Arena was the bar.
Okay, so it's called the Grand Vista, and there was a bar at the Grand Vista called the Arena Club. Even though there was no arena within 100 miles from that place.
No.
And I remember going to this bar, and it was like, you know, trying to be like a nightclub, but it was just super scummy. And it was like a sports bar nightclub. And dude, that place was crazy, especially like Friday, Saturday nights. It was just like everybody in Simi Valley was there. Like all these like motocross bros and like the chicks and
Tramp stamp hose.
tramp stamp hoes because yeah, there it wasn't a very diverse community in Simi Valley, so
No,
uh,
not at all.
it was really funny. And I remember going to that bar, like this place is fucking goofy, and like I remember that one song, like I don't know the song, but it's like apple bottom jeans and the boots and the fur. I remember like walking in there and like the song just blasting, like couldn't even talk to you guys, and being like people like freak dancing, you know, and just like I remember just like 100 people in there, like just going nuts, and like
I
Albert,
think they had cage dancers there
yeah,
too,
it had
didn't they?
cage dancers, like not even attractive women were in the cages,
No,
like
not at all.
like a solid 3.5 in the cage, you know.
Ugh.
And I remember Albert C. Shout outs to Albert C. at NorCal, crazy motherfucker that I have many stories about I can't talk about. He was just like, looked at me, he's like, dude, this place is live. And I was like, dude, hell, this is fun. And we were just like, dude, we were like drinking, and Albert was crazy because he was like married, but like he never cheated on his wife or anything, but he was like such a good talker that he would just like go up to a group of chicks and start talking to them, and they would love him, and he would just end it at that. But he was just like fucking flirt boy, and it was so funny, dude, just being in that club,
Oh man.
just like fucking 2 beers, just like listening to fucking that stupid like radio rap, you know.
You would never go to that place if you weren't staying at that hotel.
I know, but for dude, that place was live. I wonder if it's still like that. I want to go.
That's a good question, man. I got to go there one day for old time's sake.
Yeah. So yeah, please continue the story. I need to
All right.
make it. I made a mistake. My first time making a mistake on our show is I didn't make enough drinks, and I really need another one. We have about
All right. All
we
right.
have about 20 minutes left, so I need to make one because I don't want to go dry.
All right. Well, Ryan, I'll leave us for a second, and I'll continue the narrative right now. Um, I think the next thing in like Denjin history, so it was kind of early January that we did California regionals, and it came and it went in a flash. Thank God the tournaments, a lot of them lasted like 12 hours or more. Everybody was really happy about it. I never met anybody that was disappointed with California regionals. It was a fucking mess. And it wasn't until I want to say like late March that we started doing ranking battles, and so then things were kind of settling into a groove. And around the same time is when we were at Denjin, we got the SBO qualifier spot for Third Strike, and we got the SBO qualifier spot for Street Fighter 4. So, as was routine, we used the ranking battle, the first season of ranking battles, as a bit of a fundraiser for the SBO quals. Talking about the ranking battles, I mean, they were really fun for us, but I don't think they're really an interesting story so much. I mean, a tournament, weekend tournament is a weekend tournament. But
Yeah, I remember trying to go to as many as I could, but yeah, just the drive was killer, dude.
yeah, it's super killer.
I couldn't go to Denjin unless I stayed there. So I was staying at that or sorry, Grand Vista Hotel. I think I stayed there like about 10 times in 1 year at one point.
Oh, I believe it, man.
Look at this
But
frosty
yeah,
mug.
oh, that looks good. Just sapping on wine.
Nice. But yeah, it was a
But
good time.
yeah, quals though, dude. Yeah, SBO quals was fun.
Yes, I remember this was like I remember it was a big question mark. Like, dude, FFA's always had the quals. Can Denjin get him this time?
Mm-hmm.
And people were like wondering, is it really gonna be like we're all gonna go to FFA. FFA was like, we're not allowed to go there anymore. It was like rival gang territory. You know.
I think so too. Yeah.
Um,
Nobody wanted to. That's for sure.
yeah, like, yeah, I'm gonna kind of date myself right here, but like when you're playing San Andreas, and you get kicked out of the Los Santos, and you go to like the mountain town, and you're like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're like, dude, I can't go back to Los Santos. They're after me. I'm a wanted man there. I
That's
felt
how it felt,
that's
man.
how it
That's
felt,
how it
dude.
felt.
I couldn't go back to FFA. I felt like I talked too much shit about it on SRK. Vinny was already like had his picture on the wall, like most hated banned person here. You know, uh, we should get Vinny on this show someday. That'd be funny.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him up. But yeah, so everyone was wondering like, dude, is FFA gonna get the SBO qual? Who's in charge of it? Like it was a lot of ambiguity about like who was even like the liaison between Matsuda, which we don't even know he was the guy like deciding it. It was mystery. So, but Denjin got it.
Yeah, Denjin got it in the end. And like I said, it wasn't just Third Strike; it was Street Fighter 4 too. And I did a lot of looking. I hate to talk too much about Street Fighter 4, but it's significant in this story. I think I'm pretty sure it was the only spot in America. Now there were 3 American teams, and I remember one of them went to Europe to qualify. One of them was Fubar Duck's team. I don't know how they qualified, but I'm pretty sure the one at Denjin was the only one in America.
That sounds familiar. I'm gonna go with your opinion, your
Yeah, I
memory.
think that was the case.
Yeah.
And so I think this was kind of a cool first too, even though I don't really care too much about tournament streams. California Regionals was the first Street Fighter 4 major, and to my recollection, SBO Quals was the first like big Street Fighter stream because this like dude that is like big in the Quake scene for some reason he showed up and streamed it, and it was a
Oh
big deal
yeah.
at the time.
His name was like Slasher or something.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Yeah, I remember that guy was like, he like kept talking to me, and I was like, dude, why are you talking to me? And they're like, that's Slasher, and I'm like a wrestler? Like I just didn't get it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
what?
At the time, I did not give a fuck.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck. Sorry, Slasher. You mean nothing to me, bro.
I'm sure he's a cool guy, but
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't care about Street Fighter 4 SBO Quals, and to me, and I still kind of feel this way, like the streams kind of detract from the people that actually show up.
Right.
I know it's kind of an antiquated thing, but I've always felt that way. Um, and if you're gonna like delay matches because the internet is bad, I don't know if that happened that weekend, but that kind of shit always bugs me. So back then, I just thought, what's the point of streaming, man? Which just that dates me. Obviously these days that's more important than anything. But
Oh,
back then,
I prefer no streams. Release the video 6 months later. If you don't go, you don't see it. Old
yeah,
school,
I mean,
dude. I'm
if
just I'm in the minority on that though. I know.
no, yeah, if watching it live is the only thing that's important to me, and I'm not going to be interested if I watch it afterward, then was I really ever that interested in watching in the first place?
Wow. Speak of the devil.
Wow! Yeah, I
Speak
know.
of the devil. We kind of made a rule, me and John, not a rule, but like a kind of a soft, guideline was like not to acknowledge stream chat too much, um, in Twitch while we're talking. But we had just talked about Mr. Morano, Vincent Morano, aka Vinny, aka super cool scumbag, one of the original scumbags. Um, just popped into the chat. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah. I,
Um,
I feel like there needs to be like some kind of special acknowledgement of Vinny right now.
Okay, I want one while we're on the topic. I really want to know the story about FFA. So Vinny, if you could please, this is going to be our interactive moment, first time ever on the Freak Show Wednesday, weekly Wednesday. Why did you have trouble at FFA? Please tell us. Um, I want to know what happened because I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly, and John can't remember exactly. So Because this was a major turning point in the history of SoCal Third Strike, in my opinion, and it should be documented.
Yeah, I want to know the details too. Hopefully, too much. You know, I hope Vinny's memory has survived years of boozing on Captain Morgan and blazing and shit.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, dude, remember like someone called you a little shit, and
Jeeps.
someone called you a little shit, and you posted about it on SRK, and then that made everyone hate FFA in turn. That's my memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Yeah, okay, it's right. I'm right. Somewhat right.
That sounded right.
14, 15? Wow, little fucking kid.
That's crazy, man.
Can you imagine chilling with like a 14-year-old right now?
I don't know why I ever did.
So,
Vinny was always wise for his years, though.
oh yeah, he was a good 10 years wiser than his age showed. So, he just lost.
To jump ahead in the story, fucking Vinny went to Tokyo for SBO at 17 years of age, man. Not many people can say that.
Was he 17?
He was 17, man.
Wow, that's fucking awesome. And he beat Nuki in a tournament at 17.
God damn. That's wild.
He also lost his bunny, but I'm not going to explain why unless he wants to.
Yeah. There's a lot of not safe work shit that could be spent, talked about here, but
oh yeah,
we'll
Don. Don. Okay, go on, Vinny. Sorry. I want to get sidetracked here. So he comes. Okay, let's see. He comes up to me and says, "Cliffhanger."
What?
Who said that? Don? Don? Is that Don Snedden, dude? Yeah.
Wow, really?
Dude, that guy always rubbed me the wrong way. I'm just gonna say right now. I don't know why I never liked that dude. He always came
That's
off.
weird,
He
man.
always came off as like a super fucking aggressive for no reason, motherfucker.
Yeah, looking back, a bit of a hothead, but
Yeah,
you know,
hothead. Just like, dude, come on, bro. Like, you're not cooler than us because you're fucking wearing a cut off wife beater or just like a wife beater, you know?
who pops off on a fucking high schooler though?
Yeah. No, he felt like emasculated because Vinny probably had like a fucking chick with him and just busted his ass.
Yeah, probably did fucking car shoryus for the whole fucking round.
Yeah, he wasn't even that sick, dude. I mean, yeah, I was actually friends with him and cool, but I'm just gonna tell him like, dude, you weren't that sick. Just being honest. Oh, Ty, the fucking Alex God.
Yeah.
Relax, bro. Yeah, he was a hothead, dude. I remember he was a hothead. No, this is not the story, dude. You must be drunk off Jameson. The story that I'm talking about was that one worker at FFA called you a name or something, and you posted about it on SureYouCan.com and said, "SureYouCan employee talk shit to me tonight." Oh yeah, see, dude, you're wrong, bro. This is a different story. So we got to get Vinny on here. This is I think he's gonna be our first guest in a couple weeks.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man.
I mean, maybe next week.
All right, well, you, yeah, exactly. It was leading up to Denjin. You collect your thoughts, and you'll provide us.
Ralph. Right. Yeah, so Ralph was mad at him for being a Denjinite. Yeah, because there was the civil war going on in the Simi Valley, San Fernando Valley area, you know?
Yeah, there was, man.
And Ralph knew about it. So Ralph was like the dude that ran the counter at FFA. Like he was in charge of FFA. Like, oh, let me buy us that peanut butter and jelly snack thing, you know? Yeah, and he called the fire department. Exactly. I remember this now. I remember this.
I think that was just a rumor, dude.
No,
Everybody was saying it.
I believe it, dude. I believe it. I believe in it.
Yeah, we just finished talking about Cali regionals, and that, like I said, the fire department got called, and like instantly, everybody was like, "Dude, it was Ralph, dude. He's
Oh
trying to
yeah,
shut the tournament down."
dude. It was within 2 minutes. It was like
Yeah,
everyone.
everybody was talking
It
about
was
it.
like that fucking game we played in elementary school, like telephone. Like, dude, Ralph called the fire department. Dude, Ralph's outside. He's fucking mad.
You were saying like I saw him across the street, man.
Yeah. Like, dude, tournament's ending right now. Ralph said FFA's open though. You know, like it was just like, dude, all these like rumors are flying.
I was just at L&L and Ralph was on his cell phone.
Yeah. Dude, we got to get out of here. Ralph's calling the police next. It was just like the tail was growing instantly.
Yeah. That's so funny, man.
I remember that, dude. Now it comes back to me. So thank you, Vinny. Thank you for showing up and refreshing our memories because I do remember that. Like I remember legit being like, "Oh fuck, dude, fucking Ralph's fucking this whole tournament up. Let's go fight him." I remember like, is he outside, dude? We'll just go fight him. He was like a fucking 55-year-old fucking dude. Like, let's go beat his ass, dude. I don't give a fuck. Like, we'll take him easily.
But yeah, like I said, it all worked out in the end.
Yeah.
Ralph didn't get his way.
No, he didn't get beat up. We didn't go to jail because that's what would have happened.
Oh, beating some old fucking almost retired guy.
Yeah, just beating some old dude's ass. Like, dude, you don't respect Denjin, bro? Boom, boom, boom. Just fucking jumping him. It's so stupid. But you know what? Looking back, I would have done it. I would have served my time too. So
Yeah, I
dumb,
heard
dude.
about that, Vinny. That's cool, man. I
Yeah.
wish I saw him.
Well, anyways, we're gonna have to put the bookmark in the book right now, because we're running a little long. We have our last segment for the day. I mean, if you have anything else to say, John, or you want to save it for next, because we're doing this next. We're doing this every week, guys. This is the new thing, Freak Show Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
I might need to renegotiate the time that it broadcasts depending on my work schedule, but we're definitely going to keep trying to do this every week. Thank you, Vinny, for saying that this is sick.
Yeah, dude. This is the new Wednesday thing. We're calling it Freak Show Wednesdays.
Yep. Right now, we're very much on a nostalgia kick, reliving. Right now, we are in spring 2009. And if there's any specific things that you want us to cover during that time, just years of boozing, there's a lot of things that I forget in the middle. It's easy to kind of punctuate these memories with the big things. We just finished California regionals, and I guess we'll kind of kick off with either the first season of ranking battles or the SBO qualifiers. I think SBO qualifiers is probably the way to start with.
I think that's where we're gonna start off from next week because I really want to talk about the SBO qualifiers. I had a really good memory about that tournament. So
fantastic. So that's probably where we're gonna pick off with next week. And I can say I've been going over a lot of the old tournament threads and the Denjin arcade thread. Those were good fucking times, man. Wild times. They were really good fucking times. And I appreciate anybody that's watching this and is kind of reliving it with us. I'm really glad that Vinny tuned in because Vinny was in there in the thick of it with all of us. He was Denjin through and through, and I'd love to play with him and drink with him again soon. So cheers, dude.
Okay, so let's cheers. Let's go to our final segment of the day. I'm trying to make this like kind of like a routine thing. We're gonna look at the last week's YouTube comments. Okay.
Sweet.
So first comment we have is from Dioxin, aka Salam from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. One of my really good friends. I would love to call him my brother. He's my brother from another mother. He
Fucking
says,
cool guy.
super cool dude. He says, long time guys, good to see you again. Thank you, Salam. You're the man. I want to chill with you again. I haven't seen you in fucking years. Hopefully, sooner rather than later, we're gonna be in Japan because I think that's the best place to meet, and we're gonna have some good food. We're gonna party, play Third Strike. So thank you very much,
Dude,
Josh.
absolutely looking forward to that, man. Thank you so much for your comment. Miss you, brother. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, and hope you're able to squeeze in a couple of games of Third Strike during these fucking shitty quarantine times.
Right. Exactly. I heard the UAE had a little bit of trouble too in the past with the
That's whack.
stupid fucking coronavirus. Okay, next, the one and only Fran Third Strike, aka Francisco from Italy. He says, "Nice podcast. Hearing stories from the past is always fun. Also, don't worry, man. I'll be at SBO tomorrow for sure."
Oh man, well that's jumping ahead in
Oh,
our.
this is a what do they call it in storytelling? A foreshadowing. Uh,
Yeah, this is foreshadowing. We will definitely give Fran a shout out when we get to this part of the story.
yeah.
All I can say is, man, my infinite apologies to you, Fran. You've always been such a cool guy to me, and I don't know why. And I'm glad that you've been forgiving about that. But I won't reveal any more details to that story. We'll get to it soon. I hope you're enjoying the Oasis Live, GMX, and Manchester Live. He linked that to me recently. Fucking good live.
Oh yeah. Um, Thank you, Fran. We're gonna get to that story. Of course, we are. If not next week, the week after, because we're still really early in the Third Strike chronological timeline here. So
Yep.
we're gonna get there. It's a good one. It's a fucking juicy one.
Yeah, it is a good one.
Thank you, Fran. Next, and our final comment for the week is going to be from Jandor3S. He said, "What's your Twitch name?" And I told him it's Ryan __B. And he says, "Awesome, I'll give it a follow right now." And he did follow me, and he replied. He posted in the chat today. He's fucking 16 from Kentucky, and he plays Third Strike. And I was like, wow, sick. And he's been playing for 2 years, so the new blood is gonna get my fucking cheers for the week, and he's gonna get the Keeping It Real award for this week. So thank you, Jandor Third Strike. You're getting the May 28th Keeping It Real award for playing Third Strike at 16.
I'll drink another drink for that.
Yep. He's the new Vinny. He's the new Vinny, basically.
Yeah, Vinny, I think, started exactly at 14 years of age. So we have high hopes for you, kid. Hope to see you in some tournament footage one of these days. Watch a couple videos of Vinny for a little bit of inspiration. I wish I started at 14.
Yeah. So yeah, keeping it real in Kentucky, bro. You get this week's award. So yeah, let me tell you guys one more time. I know we don't have too many followers yet on this show, but if you have any questions or any comments, post them on the YouTube. I'm gonna put this video on YouTube tonight, so it'll be up there tomorrow. And any questions or comments, post them up. We'll acknowledge them next week on the end of the show. Jandor, thank you very much, bro. You're 14. You're 16. Do whatever you want in life, but I'm just telling you right now that alcohol helps your Third Strike game. Sorry.
Yeah, take it from Vinny.
Yeah. I don't know many Third Strike players that aren't alcoholics that are good. So, besides all the Japanese, take those all out of the equation, and the American side. All right, guys. So John, last words. Remember, next week got our bookmark. We got our bookmark on SBO calls. That's what it is.
That's right. I'm going to do my plugs. I put up some semi-Third Strike related content on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Ferai, Pherai. It's life in Tokyo and going to game centers and shit like that. And hopefully soon in the Third Strike Junkies group, we'll be doing the Koenji Cube stream. I don't know when it's going to open up, but keep your eyes peeled.
All right, thanks guys. Next week, remember we're doing a weekly show. We're trying to stay around 1 hour. Today we went a little long because we had some good stories to tell. But tune in next Wednesday. If you can catch it live, it's probably gonna run around midnight, 2 a.m. Pacific time. It's pretty late. If you can't, check my YouTube. It's I'm gonna post it on my Twitch, so you guys will see it. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Later.